Hello, Rosanna. I'm Agnes. Yeah, and the topic I've read is about the health problem in US and also the great demand on the health bill in US. The health care problem has been a highly disputed topic in many developed countries, and owing to the increase of human lifetime, there is a great pressure on the medical expense and also in US. And actually, it has gained the attention of the US government for long. The article is about how the US government is trying to solve this problem recently, and also the new policy and approach of the President Obama. And before talking about my opinion towards the US actions on this issue, I would like to share some of my experience about the situation in other countries and also give the opinion on these countries, because I think that the topic illustrated in the article is not only the problem US is facing, but also the problem many other countries are facing, such as Japan and also Hong Kong, that I will talk about in my presentation. So now I will talk about the whole situation of the world first. Because of the increase of human lifetime in the recent years, there is a greater pressure on medical expense. While it is surely desirable to ensure the protection of medical subsidy from the government, but then it means that there is a greater financial pressure on the government. Because of the long lifetime of people, there are higher demand about the medical services, and also generally the elderly people who have greater demand on the medical service have less financial ability to support for their expenses. So the government need to increase the medical subsidy to the citizen. But however, the only way seems to solve this problem is to add the medical bill from the citizen. But in the citizen's eyes, it may not be the suitable method for them, because there is a question in many people's eyes about whether it is worth or not to increase their taxes for the questionable improvement on medical service. Also, there is a problem that even you increase the medical bill from the citizen, it is far before enough to cope with the great financial pressure that the medical expense is needed. So now I will come to this problem. I will take Japan as one of the representing countries because of its comparatively long lifetime of its citizens. In many years ago, Japan is well known for the long lifeline of its citizens, partly because of their good health welfare system. But however, owing to the economic downturn of Japan in recent years, there are requests of cutting the bills and other things from the Japanese. So by that, the government faced many problems in supporting the general welfare of the citizen, and actually medical expense is one of the great pressure, because there are a lot of elderly in Japan. So there is a great problem that there is a strong demand from the medical expense, and actually the government do not have the ability to support so much people. So there are cases that they want to cut down the medical support, but for sure it has raised the opponents from the Japanese. And also take a look on Hong Kong. The government also has been struggling for the reformation of healthcare policy for long, which is quite similar to Japan and many other countries. Now in Hong Kong, it is very common that you can see a lot of people waiting for the services or operation for government hospital, despite they are very urgent for the service, which is simply because there are a high difference of cost between the governmental service and the private clinics or hospital. A large pool of people suffering from diseases just do not have the ability to pay for the private services, so they have to wait for the long time before the government can have the ability or capacity to cope with their cases. So some may have a question that is there any lack of resources for the government? They need to plan more on supporting these people suffering from such kind of diseases. But the government of course knows the problem. However, the problem is that the current demand of medical expense is too high, such that the government cannot allocate any more resources. Raising medical taxes from citizens may be a feasible solution. However, it may not gain the support of the public, partly because that many Hong Kong people do not trust the government service, and actually many of them have bought some insurance plan from the other companies. The problem of why people will buy the insurance plan for themselves instead of relying on the medical support from the government is that they do not trust the government service, and also the protection of government does not guarantee they will spend all the method to protect your life. To support my argument, I would like to share about one real situation I have heard before. There was a lady suffering from cancer in a late period in some years ago, and she was a financial planner. She had a quite high salary before she retired from her job, and also she was quite rich when she discovered that she was suffering from cancer. And at that time, the doctor gave her a medical plan that it will cost her about 1,000 Hong Kong dollars every day. But then she can also choose from some other medical resources from the government, which will cost her much cheaper. That is about $100 per day. But however, the medicine support from the private doctor is much stronger, which can guarantee her from a higher chance to recover. But the problem is the government cannot support her with this kind of medicine, partly because this kind of medicine is too expensive, and also the government do not have the resources to import such kind of expensive medicine to use in the hospital by that period.